Ji-eun Park moved like a shadow through the empty halls of the government building. Her black suit absorbed what little light there was. 15 years of training had made her body a weapon, her mind a computer. Each step was careful, each breath measured. Her target was 3 floors up. A man who, according to her orders, was planning to sell Empire secrets to rebels. Ji-eun had never questioned her orders before. The Empire had saved her from poverty on her home planet when she was just 12. They had given her purpose. Commander Tae-ho Kim had found her, trained her, and made her the Empire's best assassin. The building's security was good, but not good enough. Ji-eun disabled the cameras with a small device on her wrist. The guards followed the same boring pattern every night. She timed their movements and slipped past them easily. "Eastern corridor clear," she whispered into her comm unit. "Moving to target location." "Understood," came Tae-ho's voice in her ear. "Remember, Ji-eun, quick and clean, no traces." "As always," she replied. Ji-eun reached the 3rd floor without being seen. The target's office was at the end of the hall. According to her information, he worked late every night. Tonight would be his last. She pressed her ear against the door. Someone was inside moving papers. Ji-eun pulled out her weapon, a small gun that left no bullets, only a tiny mark that looked like a heart attack. The Empire liked things to appear natural, but something felt wrong. Ji-eun had learned to trust her feelings. They had kept her alive on dozens of missions. She hesitated, then pulled out a small scanner from her belt. It showed one person in the room, sitting at a desk. Nothing unusual. She took a deep breath and opened the door silently. The man at the desk looked up. He was older, with gray hair and tired eyes. Not what she expected. Her information said the target was young, in his 30s. "Can I help you?" he asked, not seeming afraid. Ji-eun kept her weapon hidden. "Minister Han Do-young?" she asked, using the name from her mission files. "Yes," he answered. "And you are?" Ji-eun studied him. This man did not look like a traitor. He looked like a tired old public servant working late. "I'm with Imperial Security." She lied smoothly. "There have been threats against government officials. I'm checking that everything is secure." The man smiled sadly. "The Empire protects, is that it?" Something in his voice made Ji-eun pause. She glanced at his desk. The papers were not secret plans or rebel communications. They were peace proposals. Plans for reducing military presence in the outer regions. Better conditions for workers on mining planets. This did not match her briefing at all. "Is something wrong?" Han Do-young asked. Ji-eun touched her comm unit. "Commander, I need verification on target identity and activities." After a moment of silence, Tae-ho's voice came back. "The information is correct. Complete your mission." Ji-eun looked again at the papers on the desk. "Sir, target appears to be working on peace initiatives, not rebel communications." "Your orders are clear, Agent Park," Tae-ho said, his voice harder now. "Complete your mission." For the first time in 15 years, Ji-eun hesitated. "Request permission to abort. I believe there's been a mistake." The silence stretched longer. This time. Then, "Return to base immediately. We'll discuss this failure in person." Ji-eun felt cold. Tae-ho had never spoken to her like that before. She looked at Han Do-young, who was watching her with curious eyes. "You're not security, are you?" he asked quietly. "You should leave this building," Ji-eun said. "Tonight, go somewhere safe." The old man nodded slowly. "So the rumors are true. The military leaders don't want peace." "I don't know what's true anymore," Ji-eun said. "But I know you're in danger." She left as silently as she had come. Her mind was racing. Why would the Empire want to kill someone working for peace? It made no sense. Unless the Empire didn't really want peace. Ji-eun made her way to her small apartment near the city center. It was a plain place with few personal items, just how she liked it. She needed to think. Going back to base now felt dangerous. Tae-ho had called her failure. In 15 years, she had never failed. She was about to pack a small bag when she heard a soft click at her door. Most people wouldn't have noticed it, but Ji-eun was not most people. Someone was breaking in. She moved, silently to the side of the door, weapon ready. The door opened slowly. A man in a black uniform stepped in, gun first. Ji-eun recognized him. Captain Sungmin Choi, another Imperial agent. She had worked with him before. Before she could speak, he fired at where she had been standing. Ji-eun moved fast, knocking his arm up. The shot hit the ceiling. "Sungmin, what are you doing?" she demanded. Two more agents rushed in behind him. Ji-eun was fast, but she was surprised and outnumbered. A shot grazed her arm. She kicked one man back through the door and used Sungmin as a shield. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. Arm around his throat. "Orders," he gasped. "You're marked as a traitor." Ji-eun's mind raced. A traitor. She had been loyal for 15 years. One hesitation on one mission and now she was a traitor. The third agent was moving around to get a clear shot. Ji-eun pushed Sungmin hard at him and dived through her window. Glass shattered around her as she fell one floor down to a lower roof. Pain shot through her leg as she landed. But she kept moving. Shots followed her as she ran across rooftops, moving away from her apartment. Blood ran down her arm and leg. She needed to find a safe place, time to think. 3 blocks away, she dropped down into an alley and caught her breath. Her comm unit buzzed. Against her better judgment, she answered. "Ji-eun?" It was Taeho's voice. "What have you done?" "I've done nothing," she said. "Your men tried to kill me. You disobeyed a direct order. You questioned the Empire." "The target was working for peace," Ji-eun said. "Why would the Empire want him dead?" Taeho sighed. "You were never meant to read those papers. Your job was to follow orders, not ask questions." 15 years, Ji-eun said, her voice shaking with anger and pain. 15 years I served the Empire. I trusted you. And now that trust is broken, Taeho said coldly. "You know too much, Ji-eun. You always were too smart, too observant." Ji-eun heard something behind her. She turned to see more agents blocking the end of the alley. When she looked the other way, Taeho himself stood there, weapon aimed at her. "Heart." "The Empire thanks you for your service," he said. Ji-eun raised her weapon, but she was too slow. Taeho fired 3 times. The impacts knocked her back against the wall. Her gun clattered to the ground. She slid down the wall, leaving a streak of blood. The pain was enormous, but already growing distant. She looked up at Taeho, the man who had been like a father to her. "Why?" she managed to ask. Taeho stepped closer, his face showing no emotion. "Nothing personal, Ji-eun. You were the best I ever trained, but no one questions the Empire, not even you." He raised his gun one more time and fired a shot into her chest. Ji-eun's vision blurred. She heard Taeho give orders to his men. "Leave her. No one will find her here until morning. By then, the animals will have her." Through fading consciousness, Ji-eun heard them walk away. She tried to move, but her body wouldn't respond. Darkness closed in around her. Her last thought, before everything went black, was not of fear or even anger. It was a promise. This would not be the end of her story. The Empire had made a terrible mistake. Darkness. Then pain. Ji-eun's first feeling upon waking was burning pain throughout her body. She tried to scream, but only a weak moan escaped her dry lips. "Be still," said a soft voice. "You are not ready to move yet." Ji-eun forced her eyes open. The light hurt, and her vision was blurry. She could make out an old woman with silver hair tied back in a simple knot. The woman placed a cool cloth on Ji-eun's forehead. "Where am I?" Ji-eun whispered. Her throat felt like she had swallowed broken glass. "My home," the old woman said, "or what passes for a home these days." As Ji-eun's vision cleared, she saw she was in a small wooden room. Bundles of dried plants hung from the ceiling. Strange machines mixed with simple furniture. Nothing looked imperial. "How did I get here?" Ji-eun asked. The last thing she remembered was Taeho shooting her, leaving her to die in that alley. "I found you in the city, half dead," the old woman said. I brought you here. Ji-un tried to sit up, but sharp pain shot through her chest. She fell back with a gasp. I told you to be still, the woman said firmly. You took 4 shots to the chest and 1 to the stomach. By all rights, you should be dead. Why am I not? The old woman smiled slightly. I have certain skills, and you, young one, have an unusual will to live. Ji-un looked down at her body. Her chest was wrapped in bandages that gave off a faint blue glow. Thin metal wires disappeared under her skin in several places. This was not standard medical treatment. Who are you? Ji-un asked. My name is Haiwan, the woman said. Once, I was the Empire's best medical researcher. Now I am just a hermit who lives too far from the city to be bothered. Why help me? Haiwan's eyes darkened. I recognize an Empire execution when I see one. I have seen too many. Over the next few days, Ji-un drifted in and out of consciousness. When she was awake, Haiwan fed her broth and changed her bandages. The pain never fully went away, but it became more manageable. After a week, Ji-un could sit up. Haiwan helped her move to a chair by the window. Outside, Ji-un saw dense forest, stretching to distant mountains. No signs of the city or other buildings. How far are we from the capital? Ji-un asked. About 200 miles, Haiwan replied. Far enough that the Empire doesn't look too closely. They will be looking for me, Ji-un said. Haiwan shook her head. They think you're dead. I accessed the Imperial network. Your death is recorded. Agent Ji-un Park, killed resisting arrest for treason. Ji-un's hands tightened on the arms of her chair. Treason, she whispered, because I questioned one order. The Empire does not allow questions, Haiwan said. She sat across from Ji-un, with a cup of tea in her wrinkled hands. I learned that 20 years ago. What happened? Ji-un asked. Haiwan stared out the window. I developed regenerative medicine that could save millions of lives, but the Empire only wanted it for soldiers. When I refused to limit my work to military use, they branded me a traitor. I barely escaped with some of my research. Ji-un looked down at her glowing bandages. Is this your research? Haiwan nodded. Mixed with some old Earth knowledge that the Empire has tried to erase. They don't want people to know that healing can come from plants as well as machines. As weeks passed, Ji-un grew stronger. The metal wires under her skin were slowly absorbed, leaving thin silver scars. She began to walk around the cabin, then outside. Her body felt different, stronger in some ways, yet strange to her. What exactly did you do to me? Ji-un asked one night as Haiwan checked her healing wounds. I saved your life, Haiwan said simply. Your heart was destroyed. 3 bullets passed completely through your lungs. Your liver was damaged beyond repair. Yet I live. You live. Because I replaced what was destroyed, Haiwan said. Some parts are mechanical, some are grown from your own cells, and some... She hesitated. Some are enhanced with methods the Empire has forbidden. Ji-un touched her chest where she knew her heart should be. I feel it beating. It is still your heart, Haiwan assured her. Just improved. One morning, 3 months after Ji-un had been shot, she woke to the sound of voices outside the cabin. She moved silently to the window and saw 3 rough-looking men talking to Haiwan in the garden. We know you have medicines, old woman, one man said. The kind we can sell for good money in the city. I have nothing of value, Haiwan replied calmly. Just herbs for tea. The largest man pushed Haiwan, making her stumble. Don't lie to us. We've heard rumors about the witch in the woods. Ji-un felt a surge of anger. Without thinking, she moved outside. Her body responded faster than it ever had before. One moment she was by the window, the next she was in the garden. Leave her alone, Ji-un said. The men turned, surprised. The leader laughed. Another woman? This is our lucky day. He reached for a knife at his belt. Ji-un did not give him time to draw it. She moved, and it was like the world around her slowed down. She could see every detail. The sweat on the man's face, the dull edge of his knife, the fear beginning to form in his eyes as he realized she was not ordinary. Ji-un struck once, twice, 3 times. The man fell, unable to breathe. The second man rushed at her with a club. Ji-un caught his arm and felt strange power in her muscles. She pushed lightly, and the man flew backward into a tree. The third man fired a blaster. Ji-un felt the heat of the bolt pass her ear, but somehow she had moved aside without thinking. She closed the distance between them in 2 steps and struck him in the chest. He collapsed. Ji-un stood breathing evenly, not even winded. The entire fight had taken less than 10 seconds. "What's happening to me?" she asked, looking at her hands. HFY approached slowly. "Your new body is stronger, faster. Your mind processes information more quickly. Your reflexes are enhanced beyond normal human capability." "You made me into a weapon," Ji-un said. "No," HFY replied firmly. "The Empire made you a weapon. I made you something more. Something they fear." That evening, as the men's bodies cooled in a hastily dug grave, HFY brought out an old book. Its pages were yellow with age, the binding cracked. On Earth, long before the Empire existed, there were stories of a woman who lived in the deep forest. HFY said. She was called Baba Yaga. People feared her, yet they sought her help when they were desperate. Ji-un looked at the faded drawing of a wild-looking woman. Was she a witch? She was justice, HFY said. She was consequence. When powerful men did evil things, Baba Yaga was the price they paid. Ji-un closed the book. Why show me this? Because you must decide who you will be now, HFY said. Ji-un Park is dead. The Empire killed her. What rises in her place is up to you. That night, Ji-un dreamed of the alley where she had died. She saw Tai-ho's face as he pulled the trigger. She heard his words. Nothing personal. When she woke, Ji-un knew what she would become. Not just a survivor, not just a weapon. She would be the Empire's reckoning. She would be their Baba Yaga. 6 months passed. Ji-un trained every day, learning the limits of her new body. There seemed to be very few. She could run for hours without tiring. Her strength was 5 times what it had been. Her mind worked faster, saw patterns more clearly. HFY taught her about plants that could heal or harm. She showed Ji-un how to mix medicines and poisons. They studied the old book of Earth legends together, and Ji-un learned more about the Baba Yaga. People left offerings at her house, HFY explained. They feared her, but they also knew she punished those who deserved it. One morning, Ji-un woke to find HFY sitting very still by the fire. Her face was pale. What's wrong? Ji-un asked. My time is ending, HFY said simply. I have known it was coming. Ji-un knelt beside her. There must be something we can do. Your medicines cannot stop age, HFY finished with a small smile. Nor would I want them to. I have lived my life, Ji-un, but you have a new one to begin. That night, HFY died quietly in her sleep. Ji-un buried her near the garden she had loved. Then she burned the cabin to the ground. As the flames rose into the night sky, Ji-un made her decision. It was time to return to the Empire. Her first target was easy to find. Captain Sung-min Choi, the man who had been part of the team sent to kill her. He had been promoted after her death and now commanded a small imperial outpost on the edge of the capital city. Ji-un watched the outpost for 3 days. She learned the patterns of the guards, the weaknesses in their security. On the 4th night, she moved. The first guard never saw her. One moment he was standing at his post, the next he was unconscious on the ground. Ji-un took his security card and moved deeper into the facility. 2 more guards fell silently. Ji-un had no interest in killing common soldiers. They were just following orders as she once had. Her target was the man who gave those orders. She found Sung-min in his office, reviewing reports on his computer. He looked up when the door opened, expecting one of his men. The color drained from his face when he saw Ji-un. You're dead, he whispered. Yes, Ji-un agreed. I am. Sung-min reached for his weapon. but Ji-eun was already across the room. She grabbed his wrist and bent it back until he dropped the gun. "How?" he gasped. "The Empire isn't as thorough as it thinks," Ji-eun said. She pulled him close. "Who ordered my death? Was it just Taiho or someone higher?" It came from the top," Sungmin stammered. "The High Command. You asked questions. They don't allow questions." Ji-eun nodded. "Thank you for your honesty." When she left the outpost, every guard was unconscious, not dead, but Captain Sungmin Choi would never give another order. Ji-eun left a mark on his desk, a symbol combining the Baba Yaga sign with Korean characters meaning consequence. The next morning, Imperial News reported a rebel attack on the outpost. They said nothing about Captain Choi or the strange symbol, but in the shadowy places where people spoke freely, rumors began to spread. Someone was hunting Imperial officers, someone who left a witch's mark. Ji-eun's next target was Colonel Hong Jun-seo, who had signed her death order. She found him at his country home, surrounded by guards. It didn't matter. No security could stop her now. She left the same mark on his wall, and another rumor spread through the empire. In a busy spaceport bar, Ji-eun sat alone, listening to conversations around her. Her appearance had changed. Her once black hair was now silver, her face slightly altered by Haewon's medical skills. No one would recognize the dead assassin Ji-eun Park. A man sat down across from her. He was thin and nervous, with quick eyes that missed nothing. "I hear you're looking for information," he said quietly. Ji-eun studied him. "What makes you think that?" "People talk. They say someone is hunting Imperial officers, someone they call the Baba Yaga." Ji-eun kept her face neutral. "And if I was looking for information?" The man leaned forward. "My name is Do-hyun. I used to work in Imperial intelligence before they decided I knew too much. Sound familiar?" Ji-eun nodded slowly. "What kind of information do you have?" "I know where to find Commander Tae-ho Kim," Do-hyun said. "And I know why the Empire wanted you dead." Ji-eun's heart beat faster. "Tell me." "Not here," Do-hyun said. "And not for free. I want to join you." "Join what?" Ji-eun asked. "Whatever." "Your building," Do-hyun said. "The Empire has many enemies, but none as effective as you." Ji-eun considered. She had planned to work alone, but having someone who knew Imperial systems would be useful. "If your information is good," she said, "we can talk about working together." Do-hyun took her to a small apartment filled with computer equipment. He showed her files he had stolen before leaving Imperial service. "The Empire has a secret project," he explained. "They're searching for ancient Earth weapons, weapons that could destroy entire planets." "What does that have to do with me?" Ji-eun asked. "Your last mission," Do-hyun said. "The old man you were sent to kill, Han Do-young. He wasn't just working on peace plans. He had discovered part of the project and was going to expose it." Ji-eun felt cold anger rise within her. "So I was sent to silence him without knowing why. And when you questioned the order, I became a threat," Ji-eun finished. Do-hyun nodded. "The project is called Black Star. Commander Tae-ho Kim is one of its main protectors. He's eliminated anyone who came close to discovering it." "Where is he now?" Ji-eun asked. "That's the interesting part," Do-hyun said. "After your death, he was promoted. He now works directly for the High Command at the Imperial Center." The Imperial Center was the most secure building in the galaxy. Even in her former life as the Empire's top assassin, Ji-eun had never been inside its highest levels. "It's impossible to get to him there," Do-hyun said. Ji-eun smiled for the first time. "Nothing is impossible. I've already died once." Over the next weeks, Ji-eun and Do-hyun worked together. Do-hyun used his technical skills to gather information, while Ji-eun continued hunting Imperial officers connected to the Black Star project. Each time, she left her mark. Each time, the stories grew. Some said she was a ghost, others called her a demon. The name Baba Yaga was whispered in dark corners of every Imperial world. They were joined by a woman named Yuna, a smuggler who knew every secret path through Imperial space. She had lost her family to imperial pacification. "I've heard of you," she told Ji-un when they first met. "The witch who hunts the empire." "Not a witch," Ji-un corrected. "Just someone who keeps a promise." Their small group grew slowly. A former imperial pilot, a doctor whose clinic had been destroyed. Each had suffered under the empire. Each had skills to offer. Ji-un led them with quiet authority. They hit small targets at first, supply depots, communication centers, always leaving the mark of Baba Yaga. The empire responded by tightening security everywhere. They assigned their best hunter to find the rebels, Agent Jin Ho, a man almost as skilled as Ji-un had once been. "He's getting close," Do-hyun warned, one night showing Ji-un reports he had hacked from imperial systems. "Good," Ji-un said. "Let him come." She knew time was running out. The Black Star project was moving forward. Soon the empire would have weapons that could destroy any resistance. Ji-un looked at the map showing Taiho's heavily guarded imperial center. Getting to him would be nearly impossible, but that had never stopped the Baba Yaga. "It's a trap," Yuna said, looking at the plans for the imperial center. "They know someone is targeting officers. They'll be ready." Ji-un nodded. "Of course it's a trap. Taiho expects the Baba Yaga to come, but he expects a monster, not a ghost, from his past." The small group had gathered in their hidden base, an abandoned mining facility deep in the mountains. Do-hyun had set up their computers and communications there. It was as safe as anywhere could be from Imperial eyes. "The Imperial Center has 7 layers of security," Do-hyun explained, pointing to the screen. "Guards, cameras, sensors, DNA scanners. No one gets in without being checked 20 times. Then we don't try to sneak in," Ji-un said. "We walk. In the front door." Her plan was simple but dangerous. Yuna would pose as a wealthy merchant with goods to sell to the empire. Ji-un would be her quiet assistant. Their identification papers would be perfect. Do-hyun had been working on them for weeks, and once we're inside, Yuna asked. "I get to Taiho," Ji-un said. "The rest of you make sure the evidence of the Black Star project reaches every planet in the galaxy." That night, as the others prepared, Ji-un stood alone outside their base. The stars were bright above the mountains. She thought about how far she had come from that alley where she should have died. She heard soft footsteps behind her. It was Min-soo, their doctor, who had joined them after his clinic was destroyed. "You're not planning to come back, are you?" he asked quietly. Ji-un didn't answer right away. "My death started this journey. I always knew it might end the same way." "The others follow you because you give them hope," Min-soo said. "Not because they want to watch you die again." Ji-un looked at him. "Hope is good. But the empire runs on fear. Sometimes to fight them we need both." The next morning, as Yuna and Ji-un prepared to leave for the capital, alarms sounded through their base. Do-hyun rushed into the room. "Imperial ships," he said. "Coming this way. Someone talked." Ji-un felt a cold certainty. Not someone. Agent Jin Ho found us. They had minutes before Imperial troops would arrive. The team scattered to destroy evidence and prepare defenses. Ji-un moved to their weapons room and armed herself quickly. This was not how she had planned to face the Empire, but plans rarely survived contact with reality. The first explosion rocked the base as Imperial troops began their attack. Ji-un moved through smoke and chaos, directing her people to escape routes they had prepared. She would not lose anyone if she could help it. As the last of her team escaped through a hidden tunnel, Ji-un turned to face the incoming soldiers. She would give her people time. Imperial troops poured through the damaged entrance. Ji-un moved like water among them, disarming, disabling, but not killing. These were not her targets. Then a man stepped through the smoke. He wore the black uniform of an Imperial hunter. "Agent Jin Ho." "So the Baba Yaga is real," he said, studying her. "You've caused the Empire much trouble." "Not enough," Ji-un replied. "Not yet." Jin Ho drew his weapon, not a standard blaster but a shock staff designed to disable without killing. The Empire wanted the Baba Yaga alive. "You're good," he said as they circled each other. Better than any rebel I've hunted before. I'm not a rebel, Ji-un said. I'm a consequence. They fought in the burning room, each testing the other's skills. Jin-ho was fast, well-trained. But Ji-un was something more than human now. She moved with impossible speed, anticipating his attacks before he made them. Finally, she pinned him against a wall, her arm across his throat. Kill me then, Jin-ho gasped. Prove you're the monster they say you are. Instead, Ji-un stepped back. I could tell you I'm not a killer, but that would be a lie. I'm selective, and you're not on my list. Jin-ho stared at her, confused. Who are you? Ji-un hesitated, then made a decision. She pulled up an image on a nearby screen, her Imperial file closed after her death. I was Agent Ji-un Park, until the Empire decided I asked too many questions. Jin-ho's eyes widened. Park, but you died. I saw the reports. Reports can be wrong, Ji-un said. She showed him files Do-hyun had stolen, the plans for the Black Star Project, the list of people who had been killed to keep it secret. Jin-ho read quickly, his face growing pale. This can't be real. The Empire protects people. Look at me, Ji-un said. I served the Empire faithfully for 15 years. This is how they rewarded me. As the base burned around them, Ji-un told Jin-ho everything. About Han Do-young's peace plans, about Tai-ho's betrayal, about the weapons that could destroy worlds. Help me stop this, she said when she finished. Or kill me and continue serving. Lies. Jin-ho stared at the floor for a long moment. Then he looked up, his decision made. What do you need me to do? With Jin-ho's help, Ji-un no longer needed her original plan. He had access to the Imperial Center. He could take her directly to Tai-ho. 3 days later, they stood in a service corridor near Tai-ho's private office. He's alone, Jin-ho said, checking security feeds on his wrist device. But there are guards outside his door. I don't need the door, Ji-un said. She pointed to an air vent. Jin-ho raised his eyebrows but said nothing. Minutes later, Ji-un dropped silently from the ceiling into Tai-ho's office. He sat with his back to her, reading reports on a large screen. Hello, teacher, Ji-un said. Tai-ho froze. Slowly, he turned his chair. When he saw Ji-un, the color drained from his face. Impossible, he whispered. You taught me many things, Ji-un said, moving closer. But you forgot the most important lesson. Always make sure your target is truly dead. Tai-ho recovered quickly. He reached for a hidden weapon, but Ji-un was faster. She knocked it from his hand and pinned him to his chair. How? He demanded. I put 3 bullets through your heart myself. You did, Ji-un agreed. But hearts can be replaced. Loyalty once broken cannot. Fear showed in Tai-ho's eyes, but also calculation. Whatever you think you know, whatever you plan to do, it won't matter. The Empire is too big, too powerful. I'm not here to destroy the Empire, Ji-un said. Just the rot within it. She pulled out a small device Do-hyun had prepared. This is broadcasting everything in this room to every communication system in the galaxy. The Black Star files, the list of innocent people you've killed. Your admission of shooting me, all of it is public now. Tai-ho lunged for the device. Ji-un stepped back easily. It's too late, she said. The truth is out. Alarms began to sound throughout the building. On Tai-ho's screen, reports flooded in of uprisings on multiple worlds as people learned the truth about the Empire's secret weapon. They'll hunt you forever for this, Tai-ho said. They can try, Ji-un replied. She drew her weapon and aimed it at his heart. Tai-ho closed his eyes, waiting for the end. The shot never came. He opened his eyes to see Ji-un lowering her weapon. Death would be too easy, she said. I want you to live in the world you've helped create. A world where people know what the Empire truly is. Ji-un left the symbol of Baba Yaga on his desk. Remember my face, teacher. If you ever try to rebuild your project, I'll return. And next time, I won't be so merciful. When Imperial security forces broke into the office minutes later, they found Tai-ho alone, staring at the witch's mark. The Baba Yaga had vanished like a ghost. In the weeks that followed, the Empire tried to contain the damage. They called the files fake, The uprising's temporary, but the truth once released could not be recaptured. On distant worlds, people began to leave small offerings beside the symbol of Baba Yaga, thanks to the witch who had fought the Empire and won. Ji-un watched these developments from the shadows. Her team had grown into something larger, a network of people working to expose Empire corruption wherever they found it. What now? Jin-ho asked her one evening, as they stood on a balcony overlooking a city slowly freeing itself from fear. The Empire is wounded but not defeated. Ji-un looked up at the stars. Now we continue. The Empire created Baba Yaga when they tried to kill Ji-un Park. They'll live with the consequences of that choice. Somewhere in the galaxy, other Imperial officers looked over their shoulders, wondering if their secrets were safe, wondering if their crimes would go unpunished, wondering if, one day, they would face the woman they had tried to kill. The woman who came back. The Baba Yaga.